بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويوم ينفخ في الصور ففزع من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله وكل آتوه داخرين. The Quran interestingly says, as you look at the translation, and remember the day in which the trumpet will be blown. يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ. And this topic of the sur, the trumpet, being blown as the end mark of the universe, it is something mentioned in many of the verses of the Quran, and you will find this, I think, quite amazing, in fact. And for anyone with any level of doubt, I think it might be something that strengthens anyone's doubt about what I'm, inshallah, going to share with you. And this is not just my work alone, but I mean, the work's already out there, but I'm just putting it in a new format that I think will help us appreciate this in even a more deeper way. So starting with, for example, let me just go from here, where it says, and on the day when the trumpet will be blown, هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق. He is the one who created the heavens and the earth in truth. ويوم يقول and the day ويوم يقول كن فيكون, and the day he will say be and it is. قوله الحق, and this is a true statement. له ملك, and for him is kingship. يوم ينفخ في الصور, on the day when the trumpet will be blown. عالم الغيب والشهادة وهو الحكيم الخبير, and he knows the seen and the unseen, and he is all wise, all knowing. Okay, so again, the idea of the sur being blown, the trumpet being blown, even though the word sur has many meanings in the Arabic language. Sur even means surah, for example, means picture. Sur means picture also. But anyway, يوم ينفخ في الصور, on the day when the trumpet will be blown, referring to the day of judgment. And generally our concept of this is that there's a trumpet in the mouth of Israfil, and he's waiting for Allah. He's waiting for Allah to give him the command, and he will blow on the trumpet, kind of like a trumpet of a medieval, like a trumpet that we usually think of, the musical instrument trumpet. However, from a Sharia point of view, what is very interesting, something to consider and think about as I go deeper into this, that is that whatever, like for example in the hereafter in Jannah, we will be able to drink alcohol, but it doesn't have the qualities of alcohol. It does not make you lose your mind as alcohol does. In the same way, women and men will mix freely, as the Prophet ﷺ told us, but the hearts will not be inclined or deviated from one's own partners. So the point is that the elements of the Sharia in this world also preserved and lived by in the next world. We have Jummah khutbah, for example. In every week we will have a Jummah khutbah according to some of the riwayat given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the point is that the point I'm making here is that this word sur, trumpet, as you know, the blowing of or using musical instruments that you have to blow onto is not something. It is, at the very least, it is makruh. It is disliked to play with instruments like that, and in fact is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. And يوم ينفخ في الصور, on the day when the trumpet is blown, there must be something to this trumpet that needs to be looked into a little bit more, and that's what I'm going to try to help you do. So I'm going to read this article for you that will help you probably understand its significance and I hope inshallah you will appreciate what I'm going to show you, because I'm going to show you that the Quran actually goes one step beyond what the scientists already seem to mathematically have determined, and that is that if you look at this article over here, by the way, this is in newscientist.com. You can look this up on Google. A Big Bang glows hints at funnel-shaped universe, meaning the universe looks like something like this. Let me just bring up the picture a little bit more for you to see. You see that? It's like a horn, okay? And it says when the horn is blown in the Quran, as you mentioned, as it was mentioned in the verse, صَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ, everything in the heavens and the earth will fall unconscious, meaning from the earth all the way up to the top level, everything will fall unconscious except whoever Allah wills. So if you go back to this verse over here, يوم ينفخ في الصور ففزع من في السماوات ومن في الأرض إلا من شاء الله. Everything in the heavens and the earth will, when it will be blown, will be, you can say unconscious or terrified over here, except whomever Allah wills. Okay, so it's going to affect the entire universe, right? Because as-samawat, all of the seven heavens and the earth, will be affected by this blowing of the trumpet. And what is interesting is that the trumpet is exactly the shape of the universe as we know it. And then I will read to you, and you can read with me from here. And that is that, could the universe be shaped like a medieval horn? It may sound like a surrealist's dream, but according to Frank Steiner at the University of Ulm in Germany, recent observations hint that the cosmos is stretched into a long funnel with a narrow tube at one end flaring out into a bell. It would also mean that space is finite, meaning space is limited. And of course, it is not unlimited as many had imagined. And it goes on to the research that was done regarding this, and you can read the article. It's actually very interesting. Now, if you look at the shape of the funnel is like this. And taking these verses of the Quran and taking some of the research that the scientists have done, one of the Muslim brothers, I don't know who he is, but he then put it in the way the Quran sees it, or the Quran describes it. If that trumpet shape, samawati wal ardi, sab'a samawatin, I don't know if you could see it here, but he puts it, instead of the funnel is on the narrow is on the bottom and going all the way up, and he looks at these as the seven layers. And of course, dark matter could be even beings like angelic beings that are not dark. They're angelic beings like angels that are, because we know that the universe can only be the way it is by a lot more mass than what we see. And we're going to look at into that in a little bit in this video. Anyway, so these are these seven. And so when nufikha fi sur, and when the trumpet is blown, meaning this is where the trumpet is blown from here, and it affects whatever is here on the all seven layers, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خلق السماوات والأرض. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, like in Surah Al-Mulk, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا. And he created the seven heavens, one on top of the other. But even though mathematically they got the right shape, which is this shape, when they did the research, but the positioning of it is on the side rather than, as mentioned in the Quran, one on top of the other. Even though technically this can be also considered one on top of the other in a sense that one is over the other leading, but the direction that the universe is facing, that's maybe harder to tell. Okay, so anyway, so the universe is shaped like a horn, and interestingly enough, the Quran mentions that this universe or the earth and every living thing will come to an end when the trumpet is blown and the universe is shaped like a trumpet. Here, if you add in the two elements, it sounds true that it is referring to the entire universe being the trumpet itself. And now we will, and naqur, which is one of the other فَإِذَا نُقِرَ فِي النَّاقُورِ, means something that's hollow and empty. So in some of the verses, the word trumpet is used by the word sur, and in one of the verses, a different word is used. Anyway, we can also look at this word just to give you an idea what will happen. فَإِنَّمَا هِيَ زَجَرَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ. So it will be just one shout, you can say it. Zajara is a shout, okay? فَإِذَا هُمْ يَنْظُرُونَ. And then it will be one shout. It will be a zajara, and then it will come to life. But then sayhatun is what it will be. So it says ما ينظر وما ينظر هؤلاء إلا صيحة واحدة وما لها من وفاق. And there will only be one single shout by the trumpet, okay, and there will be no pause. So this is the zajara is the coming back to life sound, and sayhatun, sayha is another sound that puts us to death when Israfil actually blows on the trumpet. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ الْوَعِيدِ. And when the trumpet is blown, that is the day that is being warned of. فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ نَفْخَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ. Okay, فَإِذَا نُقِرَ فِي النَّاقُورِ. Okay, this word over here is actually means trumpet, but also means something that's very hollow. When the hollow entity, you can say, is blown into something that is hollow. So now we will look at this video, and I hope you are quite amazed by this, that it is not by chance. Quran says blowing into the trumpet, and the universe itself is shaped like a trumpet. And even though this interpretation could possibly be wrong also, but it could also be possibly very true. And when you actually gather all the verses regarding this issue, it makes it more certain, because of the way the word sur is many times in Quran connected with the entire universe. And I'll give you one more example of that, and that is هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ. He is the one who created the heavens and the earth in truth. يَوْمَ يَقُولُ كُنْ فَيَكُنْ. And the day he will say be, and it is. قَوْلُهُ الْحَقِّ. And his statement is true. لَهُ الْمُلْكِ يَوْمَ يُنْفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ. And his will be the kingship of the day the trumpet is blown into. So as-sur here, the trumpet, is the shape of the universe. And what is interesting is sur itself, the word sur itself means shape. So the word sur means shape, it means picture, it means trumpet, it means a lot of these things. And if you add them together, and how I mentioned that when many times the word as-sur is connected with the whole universe, sounds quite plausible. However, like I said, at the end, only Allah knows the unseen things. No one can be certain. Now I would like to show you a video that would shed a little bit more light on this, which is, I'm going to show it here. Hold on one second.
Kobe satellite, which was launched in 1989, and we discovered these variations. And then in 2000, the MAP satellite was launched, the WMAP, and it made somewhat better pictures. And later this year, this is the cool stealth version, the one that actually has some beautiful design features. I hope I'm in
the right spot here.
The Planck satellite will be launched, and they will make very high-resolution maps. And that will be the sequence of understanding the very beginning of the universe, and what we saw was we found these variations.
You can
and then they
listen to
told us
this
the secrets,
lecture here by
both
this
about
guy
the
George
structure of
Smoot
space-time
on
and
the
about
design
the
of the
contents of the
universe.
universe,
Okay.
and about how the universe started in its original
Now
motions.
let me
So
just.
we have this picture, which is quite a
so
spectacular picture, and I'll come back to it at the beginning, where we're going to have some mysterious process that kicks the universe off at the beginning, and we go through a period of accelerating expansion, and the universe expands and cools until it gets to the point where it becomes transparent.
So you can see
the
that
Dark
this is
Ages,
going to
the
get
first
narrow
stars
and
turn
narrower,
on, and they
actually.
evolve into
So
galaxies.
it's going to be
and
like
later
a
they get to
horn.
the more expansive galaxies. And somewhere around this period is when our solar system started forming, and it's maturing up to the present time. And there's some spectacular things. And this wastebasket part, that's to represent what the structure of space-time itself is doing during this period. And so this is a pretty weird model, right? What kind of evidence do we have for that? So let me show you some of nature's patterns that are results of this. I always think of space-time as being the real substance of space, and the galaxies and the stars just it's like the foam on the ocean. It's a marker of where the interesting waves are and whatever went on. So here is the Sloan Digital Sky Survey showing the location of 1 million galaxies. So there's a dot on here for every galaxy. They go out and point a telescope at the sky, take a picture, identify what are stars and throw them away, look at the galaxies.
Now notice how there's stars and then empty space and then stars. Just keep this in mind.
Out that way. And you see these structures, this thing we call the Great Wall, but there are voids and all this kind of stuff. And they kind of fade out because the telescope isn't sensitive enough to do it. Now I'm going to show you this in 3D. What happens is you take pictures. As the Earth rotates, you get a fan across the sky. There's some places you can't look because of our own galaxy or because there are no telescopes available to do it. So the next picture shows you the three-dimensional version of this rotating around. You see the fan-like scans made across the sky. Remember, every spot on here is a galaxy, and you see the galaxies.
So that's how the universe is. It's
sort of in our
like
and you
these.
sort of see the structure. And you
There's
see this
structures
thing
of
called the Great
universe
Wall,
and then
and you see the
emptiness and then
complicated
structures, more
and you see
structures.
these voids. There are places where there are no galaxies, and there are places where there are thousands of galaxies clumped together. Right? So there's an interesting pattern, but we don't have enough data here to actually see the pattern. We only have 1 million galaxies, right? So keeping.
So again, going back, I thought you would find that interesting about the word naqur, where I showed you it means the meaning of something that is hollow, right? So you see these there's this whole hollowness followed by a lot of stars, and you'll see this in the sky also. When you look in the sky, you'll see there's patches where stars are together, and then there's this all emptiness, and then patches of stars together and all emptiness. And what that shows us that this does not seem to be a work of randomness, but it seems to be a work that is designed in that specific way. And so فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ, next time when you hear the verse and when the trumpet is blown, you will think of the whole universe. Possibly it means the whole universe, and everything in the heavens and the earth that's there will faint or die, and so I will just end here. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.